Check, check, check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Okay. Lavelle, is my volume good? Peace to you, Lavelle. Peace, peace, King. Is my volume good? Mic check. Mic check. Okay. Lavelle, is my volume good? Peace to you, Lavelle. Peace, peace, King. Is my volume good? Okay. Lavelle, is my volume good? Peace to you, Lavelle. Peace, peace, King. Is my volume good? Peace, says move. Patar Amen, what's up with you, King? Y'all give me a few minutes. I'm trying to share it to some of these groups, and then go back and invite some people in. Damn. A lot of groups. Peace, Charles. Peace. Get started in a minute. Still trying to invite some people. Okay. Alright, I invite some folks. Get it set. Yeah, just be patient with me for a minute. Peace, I'm Pooh Ma'at Ra. Peace, King. I'm still inviting some people, y'all. Just bear with me, please. Is my volume still good? Family, my volume still good. Peace, Queen Ebony. Peace to you. Peace, Senate Monica. Peace, Brianna. Peace, Alex. Trying to speak to everybody while they come in. Just give me a second. I'm trying to invite some more people. And then I'll get started. Oh boy. Trying to make sure I don't forget anybody. what I'm trying to do. Yeah, that's all I'm invite. I just got too many friends. I'm not finna keep strolling down through here. But family, if you don't mind, share the video. Peace out, Ryan. Peace, Richard Tucker. Bucker Tuck. Peace to you, King. Let me pull up, make sure I'm sorry. Now is my PowerPoint showing y'all? Okay. It's peace, Sunshine. Peace, Senate Sophie. I mean Senate, yeah, Senate Sophie. Hey, did you Sunshine, I put that in the group. I don't know if you shared it or not. Did you share it in the MBK groups? I clicked on to it, but peace, Ken Folk, peace, Alex. What's up, King? All right. Appreciate that, Sunshine. Peace, Derek. Peace. I guess I'll go ahead and get started. Before I get started, though, hold on, y'all. Before I get started, hold on. Let me log into this other device real quick. And before I get started, I want to play the song by my bro Yashua Ashe. The name of the presentation is African Tradition of Poem Libations, and the song I'm going to play by Yashua Ashe is called Libations. This is the same brother that own a Nubian LLC bookstore that I gave you some slides and gave you his brick and mortar place away here in Streetport, and I gave you the name of, on the slide, the name of his CD. So go out and support that brother. If you're in the Streetport area, go and check out the brother's store. He has books, he has pictures, he has clothing, he has oils, he has necklaces, and etc., etc. So go support that brother and inbox him to get one of his CDs, because the CD is on fire. But just give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to log into this other device. All right, I'm in here. All right, so I'm gonna play this song before we get started. Just check out the song, y'all. It's fire.
Contrary, doing it different. My mother's got beat. I was in the streets of real, making deals with the ill. I'm still in the streets, but I'm on another level. It's wartime, ain't no stalling. I pull out patience to the falling. I was in the streets of real, making deals with the devil. I'm still in the streets, but I'm on another level. It's wartime, ain't no stalling. I pull out patience to the falling. The war is spiritual before it's physical. People, you in control of yourself, the biggest kept secret. It's like a chess game, homie. You predict the moves. You ain't in tune with yourself, so you conflict the truths. Turn up before we burn up. Plot on the come up. You know the real enemy, but you ain't about that drama. You ain't about that life, whoa. You don't wanna let that life go. You don't wanna fight to live. You rather move fast than die slow. But I understand. I was raised in that reality. Same mentality. Struggling with the math of me. But now I see that it was all by design. So my first fight With me against my mind. Now I'm on a mission. Ambition as a soldier. If I die, go to prison. My kids gon' take over. I pull libations to the fallen, then I put in work. I'm doing this cause it's my calling. Race first. I was in the streets for real, making deals with the devil. I'm still in the streets, but I'm on another level. It's wartime, ain't no stalling. I pull libations to the fallen. Real making deals with the devil. I'm still in the streets, but I'm on another level. It's wartime, ain't no stalling. I pull libation to the fallen. Marcus Garvey, I shake. Elijah Muhammad, I shake. Malcolm X, I shake. Martin Luther King Jr., I shake. QP News, I shake. Fred Hampton, I shake. I shake. Harriet Tubman, I shake. Sojourner Truth, I shake. Tupac Shakur, Phoenix Shakur, I shake. My great grandfather, I shake. My grandfather, I shake. My little cousin, Walter Young Jr., I shake. All the soldiers who died fighting this battle, I shake. I shake.
That was I was trying to type it in the chat and I messed it up, but that's brother Joshua Ashe again. That's brother Joshua Ashe. Again, support that brother. Go and inbox him and get his DVD. Joshua Ashe, YASSER ASE, Joshua Ashe, the owner of Nubian Bookstore LLC. So support him. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Before I get started, I want to say ETM Hotep, Dua Duau Aku, Rini Kofi Paisai, which I just said, welcome in peace. I just want to welcome in peace. I want to welcome peace into the live stream. I said Dua Duau, which is peace, praise or thanks the ancestors. Rini Kofi Paisai, which I said my name is Kofi Paisai. I also want to say Fatmu, Iwa Pele, Fatmu, Alifie, Mojube, Oleran, Mojube, Olemare, Igun, Mojube, Ibai, Igungun, Kiki, Igungun. So basically the same thing. I just said I want to welcome in good character. So I want everybody to have bring forth good character. I want everybody to have good character. So I said Fatmu Iwa Pele, which means bring forth good character. So all of us say that we are descendants from Africa and our ancestors practice good character. I also said bring forth peace, because again, we always want peace. We want peace in the live stream. We want peace in our life. So I said Fatmu Alafie. And I said Majube Olemare Majube Oleran, which means peace to the creator or peace to the divine force. And I also said Igungun Kiki Igungun, which I pay homage to the ancestors and I praise the ancestors, because again, well, we wouldn't be here without our ancestors. So I always have to give it up to the ancestors before I get started. I always have to give them praise, honor, and respect, because again, we wouldn't be here without our ancestors. We are our ancestors. We should revere and praise our ancestors because they left so much behind for us. The PowerPoint is called African Traditions of Pouring Libations. Let me blow it up. All right. Let's go ahead and build. All right. I always have to give a disclaimer before I get started. The disclaimer is I am not a teacher, but merely a student sharing information. And that information provided is for the educational purpose only. And if you are in doubt, do the research or have it verified by someone qualified. I reserve the right to change the focus of this presentation to shut down, sell, or exchange the terms of this use by my own discretion. All trademark, design rights, copyrights, registers, names, mottos, logos, avatars, insignias, and marks used or cited by this website or the property of their respective owners. I reserve the right to add information as it comes available and or adapt, change, approve information as it comes available in the future. Inputs wanted, changes, additions, deletions is encouraged. No, the other one was Yoruba, Queen Ebony. I was speaking the Running Kemet language first, and then I spoke the Yoruba language. I'm a practitioner of Ifa, which is by the Yoruba people, and I'm a practitioner of the Kimatu or the Remich culture out of North Africa. So I was speaking in both of those languages a while ago. Peace, Willardine. Peace, Calvin Haynes. And I had another person from Trinidad. Peace, Marva Garcia. Peace to you. Try to speak to everybody that come through the live feed. All right. I always, this is my motto. As I learn, we all learn. So, and that's the motto that we should take with anything that we do, as we learn something, because we are all family. So as I learn, we all learn. So whatever I learn, I'm gonna share it with the family. We should be the same way. You know, we should always try to help one another. If one don't know, one should show the next. That's how we get ahead. That's how we get ahead. Peace, Nagazelle. So again, as we learn, we all learn. So remember that. All right. The libations is a offering, is a drink offering. So it's a offering. It is a offering that we give. So, and the offering aspect of the offering concept, we're going to talk about the offering concept. Where did this offering concept originated? We're going to talk about where this offering concept of this drink offering and who you're offering the drink offering to. So this here at the top of here is, again, I said I'm a practitioner of the Kemetu or the Remich culture and a practitioner of Ifa culture. So this here is the sesh up here at the top, which y'all would call the hieroglyphs, but the name of it is the sesh meduneture. So we have the sesh up here, the writing up here. We have the transliteration down here at the bottom, and we have the translation here. So it says Hotep Dinasut Wusir Neb Jebdu Netcher A Neb Abju DF Peret Kuret T Hinket Ka Apet Sesh Menket Nebet Neferet Wabet Unket Netcher M Inka N E Imaku Makaru. And the translation is an offering which the kings give, Wusir, Lord of Jeddu, the great deity, Lord of Obitus, that he may give a voice offering of calf, fowl, linen, alabaster, and all that is good and pure, a pure thing on which the deity lives, and the revered ones, the ancestors justified. So this is an offering to the ancestors, to the Aku, or to the Igungun, or to the Insam Mafu, which means ancestors also. So it is an offering that we're giving to the king, giving to the ancestors. And the ancestors being Mahkuru, which means justified, or true of voice. Say what said Drew? No, it's Meta. I said it's Metanetta's sin. What you talking about? Anyway, all right. Pouring libation for your father and mother who rest in the valley of the dead. Creator will witness your actions and accept it. Do not forget to do this even when you are away from home. For as you do for your parents, your children will do for you also. So this is an old saying out of North Africa too, dealing with pouring and pouring libations, which we know one part or one aspect of pouring the libations is honoring and revering your ancestors, those who have transitioned into the Agungun, the ancestral realm, of those who have transitioned into the Ikule or run the invisible realm or the heavens. So it's basically just saying if we teach our kids to revere their ancestors, their grandmother, their great-great-grandmother, their great-great-great-grandmother, their great-great-great-grandfather, etc., revere and honor them and call their names and pour libations out to them and talk to them as you teach them that process, and as you transition, your children will still renovate you, honor you, and praise you as you have transitioned as well. So this is an old saying out of North Africa as well. All right, family, when you are pouring libations, you are awakening. So I'm finna tell you what you're actually doing when you're pouring libations. So family, when you're pouring libations, you are awakening the ancestors. The libation is only one first part of the process. After awakening the ancestors, we have to actually do something, discuss something, or work a ritual. Libation is not complete without a bare minimum. Thanking the ancestors, which I always do, especially when I get started with these presentations or anything that of a great undertaking that I think of, I always have to give them honor, respect, and praise, or request something like supporting stability, clarity, spiritual cleansing, and protection. Because again, we understand that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred from one state to the next. And if you understand African spirituality, we know that once our ancestors has transitioned, they are still here. That energy force is still here with us. That energy force is waiting on us to call upon them so they can protect us, they can support us. So as we pour libations, we can talk to our ancestors and tell them basically this is the concept where they get the protection of the angel, or this angel concept coming into play. All right, libations libations in Africa is a ritual of heritage, a drink offering to honor and please the creator, the lesser deities, or a sacred ancestor, humans, presence and not presence, as well as excuse me, y'all, as well as the environment. Hold on, y'all, 1 second. Hold on, please. All right, sorry about that. Peace, Fred. Jasmine, what you saying? Set the example. The good concept to teach the children respect. Set the example. Show that you mean it. Actions, facts. All right. Now I'm gonna go back and read that. Sorry, I had a call. I had to text that person back. But again, and listen to what I'm saying, family. Listen. It says, the libation in Africa is a ritual of heritage, a drink offering to honor and please the creator, the lesser deities, our sacred ancestors, humans, present and not present, as well as the environment. This ritual is also practiced in many other parts of the world. Now, listen to what it says. It says, I told you it's a drink offering, right? But we think that pouring libation has to do with just honoring the ancestors. No, you can pour libations to the creator. You can pour libations to the lesser deities. When we talk about the lesser deities, if you know anything about African spirituality, when we're dealing with the Romic culture in Kemet, we talk about the Netruz. When we talk in the Yoruba culture dealing with the Ifa, we talk about the Orishas. Those are the lesser deities. When we talk about the Akan culture, we're talking about the Apsums. Those are the lesser deities. So you can pour libations to the ancestors, but you can pour libations to the creator. You can pour libations to the lesser deities, whatever African spiritual system that you dwell, always have lesser deities. Even with the Voodoo, the Luau's are the lesser deities also, or a sacred ancestors, which always do. A human present. It said you can pour libations for a human that is present and not present, as well as the environment, because we know everything on this plane of existence is alive. So we can pour libations for the earth. We can pour libations for the soil. We can pour libations for the flowers. We can pour libations for the sun. We can pour libations for the stars. Whatever we can pour libations for. So again, remember that pouring libations does not only deal with pouring, revering the ancestors. You can pour libations for other things beside the ancestors. And look at the pictures. Pay attention to the pictures on the side. I just showed, oh, hold on. Showed you a picture here. And just pay attention to the picture here and the pictures that I'm showing on the sides, because I'm showing these pictures for a reason. Libations. Libations belong to this complex. It is suggested that libations originated somewhere in the Upper Nile Valley in Central Africa and was taken northward down the valley and eventually to other parts of the continent by migrating Africans as part of their culture equipment, something inseparable from themselves. If the significance attached above to the coastal incense burner is tenable, the libation complex must have made this journey along the Nile uncounted generations ago. Scholarship is firmly grounded for the time of Kemet. There is a mass of details about libations from very early in history of this very ancient African country. I'm gonna stop there. So we're looking at that. It's telling you that the first documentation of libations was in Kemet, but that's when we're talking about the first documentations of the libations. And the pictures that I'm showing on the side here, you can see right here, this is a tomb in Thutmosis temple. We're here where he's pouring libations to Amun. And I showed you another picture in the beginning. So I'm showing you these pictures because I'm showing you the first documentation, even though the Kemet did not come up with the libations. They said it came further down from Tai-Nahesi, which I'm going to use the term Tai-Nahesi. I'm not going to use the word Nubia. I'm not going to use the word Sudan. So I'm going to use what the ancestors call the location is Tai-Seti or Tai-Nahesi. So they saying that libations originated there and it moved forward into North Africa, which we call Kemet or we call Timeri. But I'm going with the documentation. The documentation is the first documentation was doing on the in the Upper Nile Valley where the libations took place at. All right, but culturally influenced and from there libations migrated in other different places. So I'm gonna show where the libations influence other different cultures, and I'll show you some other things where other cultures started using the libation. So right now we know libation comes from Tai-Nahesi, but the first original documentation of it was in the Nile Valley in Kemet, and spread it from there. But culturally influenced, certainly in the case of libations, did not travel along one direction along the Nile. There is evidence that particular styles of libation developed in Kemet later impact back upon the rituals in place, further upon the Nile Valley toward the source of both the rivers and the culture practice. One example was uncovered at Merdo, which again, I put that in there, but again, I'm going to use the location as Tai-Nahesi or Tai-Seti. Despite Eurocentric misrepresentation, to the contrary, it also certain that Kemetic style libations, as well as the very ideal practice of this ritual, was passed on in Alexander, Egypt, Greece, Carthage, and the Italians. In Africa, practice there is a sharp distinction between some things that are done with the right hand and the other thing that are to be done only with the left hand. So you can pour libations not only with the right hand, but you can pour libations with the left hand. Certain things that you do when you pour libations with the left hand, certain things you do with pouring libations with the left and the right hand. But again, libations does not always have to do with pouring. So we always we under the consumption also that pouring libations only deal with pouring. But we're gonna get into that, and we're gonna get into pouring libations. The liquid that we always use is water, and I'm gonna show you and give you other different liquids that are pouring libations and what those liquids means also. Doing with the right hand and to be done with the left hand. Libations pour with the right hand because this is the hand reserved by African traditions for such activities and offerings, eatings and drinking. Libations often accompany offerings of food and other things considered good and worthy and higher power. And while ago, I showed you when I got started, I gave you a primary of the offering formula that's in Kemetic. So I gave you the sesh at the top, I gave you the transliteration at the bottom, and I gave you the translation. I gave you the transliteration in the middle, the translation at the bottom. And remember, it was saying the offering that the kings gives, and it was giving beer, fowl. So it's an offering. So you're giving offerings to the ancestors. So I wanted to show one of the primary sources of a offering, and not just libations or the drink offering, food and other etc. Other things. Okay, a libation offers accompany offerings. Peace, Josh. Peace, Dr. Oyama. Peace, Garfield. I try to speak to everybody that come on the live feed. Peace to y'all. A libation offers accompany offerings of food and another thing considered good and worthy of a higher power. But the libation should not be confused with those other offerings or with an entire ceremony of which it may form a part. For example, from the earliest known times, libations are always poured as part of the ritual which marks the African cycles of life. So, and for those that have been watching a lot of my PowerPoint videos and the things that I went into, everything that our ancestors did, whatever type of ceremony, whatever type of ritual it was, pouring libations was always involved in whatever ceremony that was going on. And remember, right here, I'm talking about the naming ceremony, the initial ceremony, the marriage ceremony, the transition ceremony. So we talked about those things in my PowerPoint I did on the rites of passage. If you hadn't looked at the video, go back and look at that video. I go in depth on the rites of passage video dealing with the name and with the birth names. I go into the adulthood and the different stages of the adulthood. I go into the circumcision. I go into the marriage. I went into the eldership and explained what is an elder, what is an older. I went into ancestorship / death. So I went into those things also, and I told you that doing those different ceremonies that they went through, those different stages of life, there was a pouring of libations ritual or ceremony that took place also. A lot of things we do is genetic, and it's us, and that's how we know who we are. However, some of us choose ignorance. That's true, because I'm gonna show you that we've been doing things and it's embedded in our DNA, and we don't even know exactly where these things come from. We're just doing it without thinking because it's embedded in us. All right. A libation may be poured with a drinkable liquid, including, so now I'm finna go into the different things of what you can use, the different liquids, because we know libations is a drink offering. So I'm gonna go into some of the things that you can use besides water. You know, we see water poured a lot. But a libation may be poured within a drinkable liquid, including water, milk, wine, beer, and strong alcohol. Though alcohol has been the dominant choice for some generation now, especially in West Africa. But not only in West Africa, you have the liquor aspect or the alcohol aspect here in the United States. We do things subconsciously and don't know why we do these things. Again, it is embedded in our DNA, you know what I'm saying? And we do things and we don't know why we do these things and where it comes from. More often, and I'm gonna show you a picture where in West Africa, a couple of pictures on the side, you will see those in West Africa, specifically in Ghana. Those in Ghana, the Akan people, they use a choice of wine to pour out libations. You will see them pouring out wine instead of pouring out water. More often than near clear spirits are chosen on the important occasions. Gin in Ghana, Clarin in Haiti, white rum in Jamaica, Gianni in Trinidad, and other places. The choice of liquid depends on the nature of the libations and the prayer and what your aim is invoking and awakening the ancestor. Because again, as I stated earlier, pouring libations, you are activating or you are awakening your ancestors, and it's other things that take place besides pouring the libations, which I talked about earlier in another slide. Okay, so I talked about the different liquids. So I gave you water, I gave you milk, wine, beer, and alcohol. So we'll go through some of those. Peace, Steve. Peace, Maisha. Peace, Queen. Water is for cooling and healing and creating or reconciling relationships. Liquid supposed to be, I said liquor is a fierce and usually used to rouse, cement, ignite, protect, and perform strong purifications. So if you want your ancestors, because again, while you're pouring libations, Lafayette, Cuban crisis, Lafayette, as you pouring libations, you can also talk to your ancestors. And again, as I stated, we believe that our ancestors or that energy force is still here when they transition into the Egungun. So as we pour libations, we can ask our ancestors for certain things. So these different liquids are the different things that you use. These different liquid forms are the different things that you use according to what you are asking your ancestors, or you are asking your Egungun, or you are asking your Aku, or you are asking your Insa Manfu, which is ancestors. Wine is a midway between the two and is good for friendly relationships, creating comrades between man and spirit. So you can use wine if you want a better friendly relationship with your ancestor, or between man and between the spirit, or between the invisible realm, the Ikule Ayi, or the Ikule Iran, which is the invisible realm, or the visible realm and the invisible realm. Milk is associated with motherhood and a divinity, feminine due to lactation phases most women go through after giving birth. Milk was considered perfect offering to the creator and the spirits alike. Because again, as I stated earlier, pouring libations is not just revering your ancestors. It is for, you can pour libations for the creator. So I will pour libations for Odemari. I will pour libations for Oleron, you see? So, or I will pour libations for the Orishas, or I will pour libations for the Neteru, or I will pour libations. I'm not a practitioner of the Akan, but I will pour libations for Ingami. So you can pour libations for these other things. So this is what this milk offering is for. So again, these different liquids is according to what Oshu Shezmu is a Orisha. So yes, you can pour libations to an Orisha, to a different Orisha, which I stated in the last slide. It says you can pour libations to your ancestors, you can pour libations to the creator, you can pour libations to the lesser deities, you can pour libations for those who are gone, or you can pour libations for those that are still here. So it does not have to be a batala. Yes, you can pour libations for a batala as well. So you don't have to, pouring libations is not just revered for the dead or those that are in the invisible realm, but you can pour libations for those that are still here. Once you have poured libations, you should be taken to the ancestors like you talk to any other living person. You should conversate and build a relationship. So as I was saying earlier, you know, as you pour libations, talk to your ancestors, build a relationship with your ancestors. and according to what you want your ancestors to do for you, it is you have to use certain types of different liquids according to what you're asking your ancestors. Because again, libations is a drink offering. A list of where you can pour libations at. You can pour libations on the ground. You can pour libations on a shrine, on the ground in front of a shrine, at the door to a building, onto a living plant, into a receptacle, which on the floor symbolizes a ground, on the street in front of the venue. So I list some of these things because sometimes we are in-house. Peace, Carter Brad. Is that where we pour out liquor on the ground as respecting facts? I was going to talk about that in a few minutes. We do things, and we do things subconsciously, and we don't even know why we do it. But it's embedded in our DNA, as Sin Sean said on the in the feed a while ago. These are Ifa deities, are correct. Yes, the ones that Shesmu is talking about, Ogun, or Shun, Shangu, Abatala, or Shun. Those are the Orishas. The lesser deities, and I worship those as well. Orisha Moni Sin, which means I am a worshiper, and I revere nature. Those are nothing but aspects of nature. Those Orishas are, I know we think that they are corporal beings, but they are not corporal beings. They are things that are in nature. So if you study Oya, you will see Oya deals with the wind and storms and etc. Shango with the Shango with thunder and the lightning bolt. Yimiya with the water and etc. So these are forces of nature. So we understand that these forces of nature was anthropomorphized into stories or into myths. So we're not going to spook out these things, and a lot of people don't. And even with the people that practice these things, they take these things little facts. They are forces of nature. Cubic crisis, facts. Peace, Sean. So again, I just gave a list of the libations because sometimes we are housed, we are inside buildings, so we might not want to mess up the floor. So if and those that have shrines or the Oja Ogun, which is an altar or a shrine that you have in your home, set up for your ancestors, for your family ancestors or your bloodline ancestors, you can pour libations on the shrine or the Oja Ogun, which is a shrine or a altar. And again, I say you can pour it on the ground or in front of your shrine in your home if you want to pour water on your floor. That's up to you. At the doorstep of a building, on a living plant. Those that you see is some ceremonies you go to, they have a plant there. So we inside the building, instead of pouring on the floor inside the building, we will pour the libations in a living plant. So you'll see them with a living plant, and as they revere the ancestors or call out the ancestors' name, they will pour the libations into the drink offering into the living plant or into receptacles, which are on the floor symbolizing the ground. You know, you can use bowls, different types of bowls that symbolize the ground, and pour if you don't want to mess the floor up in your home or in some type of building where you're having some type of event going on. Or you can pour it in the streets in front of the venue. It doesn't make a difference. Carter, because they push their beliefs on us and remove us from our own. That's a fact. All right. If you are pouring libations prior to the public events, you are asked for blessings for the event or those in the attendance. So as you see that most when you're attending these ceremonies, again, anything that you deal with in African culture, any type of ritual and ceremony going to always involve a libation. So as and again, you can ask your ancestors for certain things. So when you're in a public event and you see ones pouring libations, 9 times out of 10 that they pouring the libations, they are asking the ancestors to bless the event, or Fatmu Iwa Pele, which is to bring forth good character, Fatmu Alafie, to bring forth peace into the event. Because again, we always want peace involved into our events. We want everybody to have peace. We want everybody to have good character, to demonstrate good character. And it's a lot of us out here that is not demonstrating good character, that says they're African-centered. They are descendants from Africa. They're practitioners of the voodoo. They're practitioners of Ifa. They're practitioners of the Remich culture. They're practitioners of the Akan culture, whatever they're practitioners of. But I don't see the good character, because when you look at a lot of these platforms, they are out of character. You know what I'm saying? Africans does not get out of character. We practice Iwa Pele. That's why a lot of times I'm not on a lot of the platforms, or even indulge in wasting my time and looking at some of the things on the platform, because on certain people's platform, because they're not practicing Iwa Pele. They're not practicing good character. They are slandering people. They are cussing people out. They are disrespecting people. They are bringing families that has nothing to deal with whatever the argument or debate is going on. So this is not demonstrating good character at all. So if you are pouring libations prior to a public event, you are asking for blessings for the event or those in attendance. The important part to remember again is that libations in and of itself is not enough. You craft your libation prayers, and the diaspora people still do not understand that is the best prayer, which is called the Orike, have been empowered or handed down directly from Pacific Egungun, which is the ancestors of the Orishas, which are the lesser deities, so that they are the forces of nature, so that they are still most comfortable writing their own libation prayers. Then you can craft a conversation that explains why you evoke the ancestors on this occasion. After doing these two things, you close with Ashe. So we know after most times you go in, like with the Akan people, they say Nasa. So, and in the Remich culture, because I'm a practitioner of that as well, as I pour libations, I say Ashe because I'm a practitioner of the Ifa culture. I'll say Ashe, but I also say Sajet, because Sajet means libations in the Rani Kemet language. So, but most of what we're here is after we call upon the ancestor or the creator or the lesser deities, we say Ashe at the end of it, which is a spiritual command and declaration, sort of let it be so or let it be done. So we're just making the Orike official. We are making the prayer or the action official. And you give thanks prior to seeing the fruits of your efforts. That is, you assume with the confidence that provides you have not been unethical or lazy or cutting corners in your life, whatever you have asked for will come, or spirit will tell you what it is that you really need in place of that request. So sometimes we may ask for things that we may not need it. We may not need at this time. All right. Young people. Now we're talking about young people. Can young people be seated, be done? Yes, that it can mean that too. Okay, yeah, yes, right. It's a kind of demand, Shesmo. So now we see grown folks pour libations. Can the children pour libations? Because we always see at different functions, at different rituals that we may attend, we see the grown folks pouring the libations. So can the young folks pour libations? Young people do not normally pour libations in the presence of the elders unless their youthful energy is identified as a necessity for that particular ritual or ceremony. Libations is done by community elders or the oldest member of the family, because again, we always give respect to our elders and to our to our elders, those that are before us. And again, everybody that's older than you does not make you does not make them an elder. Just because she is older than you does not make her your elder. Just because he is older than you does not make you your elder. So there are certain things that you have to do in order to become an elder. So this is one reason why my African rites of passage PowerPoint, if those that hadn't looked at the PowerPoint, go back and look at the video on my Facebook page or on my YouTube channel. I got a new YouTube channel, Kofi Paisai TV. I hadn't uploaded all the videos, but a lot of my videos are going to be all the videos I've done is going to be on that YouTube channel by the end of the week. I only have about 4 on there, but if you want to go on there and subscribe now, it's called Kofi Paisai TV, and the African Rites of Passages is on there. So again, African Rites of Passages, those are different stages of life, and those are very important. So a lot of our elders or our elders in the community will be elders if we went through those different stages, those different initiatory systems, or those different rites. Because once you go through the birth and you go through the birthing of the name, which I explained, the birth of the name is a tie to your destiny. And then when you understand and you study African spirituality, we know that your name is always a tie to your destiny. And as we are in the Ikula Oran, which is the heavens of the invisible realm, we choose our destiny. We choose our path. We choose as our parents. We choose as our time we manifested in this realm. We choose our death. We choose as our wounds. We choose our life stripes. So we choose all those different things. So your name is tied to your destiny, because everybody on this plane of existence has a purpose that they have to fulfill. And, you know, I talked about the adulthood and the different stages of the adulthood. Some African cultures, between the age of 12 to 14, you become adult at the age of 12. So you are separated from society at the age of 12, and you go through your rites of passage stages. And different countries in Africa have their own different rites of passages once you are separated from the society, where the male is separated and the what's the name is separated. Then you go back to society. Then you go back out of society with the second stage of adulthood. Then you go out of society again into the third stage, which is building you for the eldership stage. So by the time you get up in age, you will be an elder. You won't be an older. You will understand what an elder is and what an elder is supposed to do, and what type of example the elder is supposed to be setting. Because we know in our communities, the people that is in our communities, most of the old folks are not our elders, because they're not exemplifying good character. They are not setting the right standards for our community and for the kids that are around them. We know this. So that's why I say a lot of the people are my elders and not my elders. So I talk about that in that PowerPoint as well. I have read that voodoo was a form of spiritual worship practice by the original African culture, and was told that they transform and interpretate of what voodoo means in something bad to us. We should fear the practice because it invokes the spirit of the dead. This is so. Voodoo or voodoo is the essence. It means the essence of God. It means the spirit. It means that spirit that innates within us. That's what voodoo or voodoo means. That comes from the Fun people out of Benin. And the things, again, you have to understand, we are letting the very people that oppress us educate our kids. And the very people that oppressed our ancestors, killed our ancestors, raped our ancestors, did all sorts of things to our ancestors, are teaching our kids, and they're teaching them to demonize their own culture. And a lot of people, again, voodoo or voodoo means of the spirit or the essence of the creator. And it's nothing wrong, again, with evoking the spirits of the dead. Because, again, religious people tell you that. But I got some slides in here that I'm going to show the very same religious people that says pouring libations or revering the dead or revering the spirits. It's in that text. And I'm going to give you a whole list of these things. So, because I knew this question was going to come up. I'm doing a presentation on the elder. Yeah, please do that, Sin. Do that presentation on that so people can understand what is an elder and what is an older. Yes, they did spread that. Yeah, they did spread that. They demonized our own culture. you know, get us to go against our own culture, say that it's evil, it is devil worship, it is paganism. You know, they use our power upon us to tell us not to use. Exactly, but they use it. The very thing, the very tools that our ancestors left behind, they telling us not to use them, but they are using. Right, and then they invoke Jesus. But when he dead, then he resurrect, then he descend into the Ikule or Uran. But they pour oil. They pour oil. Yeah, I'm gonna show that. I'm gonna show that. Yep. Moses, Isaac, Jacob. Yes. Right. Exactly. Shazmu. All right. Let me get back. Shoot, I forgot where did I finish the okay. I don't know if I finished the thing, but I'll start here. This may sound okay. The elders are the old or the oldest members of the family. And again, I'm just stating that the elders are the one. You can have a youth pour libations, but it just all depends on the youthful energy that is identified and is necessary for the type of ritual that they are about to partake upon. So yes, the kids or the children can pour a libation. It just all depends on what type of particular ritual there are. So yes, they can, but particularly the elder in the community, the oldest one pours the libation in these different ceremonies. This may sound familiar. In some churches, young people ask publics for the rights to speak or preach, and this is also African culture that comes from our ancestors, the right to speak. Before we all speak, we ask permission from the elders. We ask a permission to speak from the elders because we revere our ancestors, we revere our elders. So we understand how important the elders is to our community. So we respect them on the most highest level. So we always ask permission before we speak. We always go to them for certain type of issues. It's a hierarchy, but they are the last ones that we'll go to for guidance, but they are the one with the wisdom, and it has been here longer than we have. Let's see. Even when the presence has already been blamed, the guarantee that the elders among them will support their effort and firming upon the spiritual energy presence. The person officiating libation must possess the spirit force to open the way of the spirit communication. We go with that safest route during the occasions and chooses to allow those that are older, trained, and more versed than us to conduct such affairs. All right. So we talked about what you say? Peace, Queen Maisha. Is pouring libation supposed to be a symbol of washing? No, it's no symbol of sin. Again, brother Carter, sin, if you understand culture and if you understand your own culture, it's no such thing as sin. In any African culture, there is no such thing as sin. No such thing. This is a Western philosophy, a Western theology. This is something that has been brung on us about sin. Just pay attention. It says that we are in sin because of a woman, right? Of a woman. It says that man is, and I was going to post this today. It says, is this some dangerous rhetoric? It says man is above woman. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I'm just trying to get, just listen. The man is above, God is above man, and man is above woman. So right there, it's telling you that so we have become male chauvinists. That's why we treat our women a certain type of way. This is why we disrespect the woman. The God is above man and man is above woman. We think we are above the woman. We know the woman comes from the rib according to some people's text, which is incorrect and unscientific, for one. And when you're dealing with the thing of sin, it says we were in sin because of a woman, right? It says that a woman was talking to a talking snake. Sometimes you have to use logic. So we know that if I go outside and talk to a snake, it's not going to talk back to me. So we are in sin because a woman was talking to a talking snake. So because the woman talked to a talking snake and convinced Adam to bite the forbidden fruit, we fail in sin. So we blame the woman for being in sin. So this dangerous rhetoric that I'm talking about, this is why we treat our women the way we treat our women. When we know we are twins, the male and the female, we know one cannot exist without the other. Male cannot be here without the female. The female cannot be here without the male. And most African cultures, we revere the woman. We revered the woman. We respected the woman to the highest because we understand all life comes through the womb of a woman. So it's no such thing as sin in the African culture or African tradition. It is a Western philosophy and theology. The snake is, and you have to understand something too. It teaches us to disrespect our women, and we become the biggest male chauvinists. Sin, heaven, hell is not an African concept. The fatalism of control, the traditions are about life and character. That's a fact, Cuban crisis. That's a fact. That's a fact. We have to remove ourselves from these Western philosophies and these Western theology. But again, I understand we have adopted their paradigm due to the Barbary Coast or the Sahara Coast slave trade and the Atlantic slave trade. So I understand why we have the mindsets, or we adapt to somebody else's culture and believe and have the perspective of other people who oppressed us, because they forced their will of life on us when they conquered and kidnapped our ancestors. Man is birthed through water, birth of a woman. Yes, he is birthed through the water. When a woman get ready to have what's the name? You get birth. I mean, even when you deal with, I don't know what what you stand on. I ain't even go there. I ain't gonna go there. But let's get back into it. All right, but I talked about pouring libations, right? So, and I talked about the 5 different liquids that you can pour libations just instead of water, and what those 5 different liquids mean according to what you're asking your ancestors for. And when we talk about libations, again, now we're not under the conception that pouring libations is just revering the ancestors. You can pour libations for a human that is actually still in existence. You can pour libations for one who has passed. You can pour libations for the creator. You can pour libations for the deity. You can pour libations for the environment or for nature. So you don't have to just pour libations for the ancestors. So now we have understanding that. But libation just not only deal with pouring. It just not only deal with pouring. But I know when we think libation, we think of just pouring. All forms of libations are poured. Sometimes libations shared with the additions of the personal ashe, which is done by spewing the liquid from the mouth into the earth or the deity or the ancestor shrine of the Ojo Ogun, which is the ancestor shrine or the ancestor altar. This carries much strength, but is not done carefully. If you don't know when to do it, ask the traditionalists for assistance. So if you're not skilled in this, do not do it unless you are taught by a traditionalist, someone who do it. So libation just not only deal with just pouring of the water, or pouring of the milk, or pouring of the wine, pouring of the strong liquor. It is also do with spitting from the mouth. So libations can deal with taking in or consuming the drink offering and then spitting it out on the environment or onto the Oju Ogun, which is the ancestral shrine, some type of shrine. So now we know that pouring libations does not deal with, libations does not deal with pouring. There are mistakes and bad choices that is pointings of getting reading. Make ebos, that's right, offerings, and get initiated to correct self. But unless application is made, it is all in vain. That's a fact. So make sure that you are skilled in these things before you even start practicing these things. The Igbo or the Adamu. All right, brother, talk about what we do over here. And as I stated, since Sean was stating that things that we do is already embedded into our DNA. So we do things and we don't even know why we do things. And I know I'm guilty of this because I done this as a teenager. I used to pour liquor out to my dead homies. You know what I'm saying? I really don't miss my dead homie. You know, so we pouring out liquor. So this, I just wanted to put this picture up here. I still see some of the kids do this now. Some of their partners who have passed, they are respecting their homies. They are respecting their homies that has passed and has transitioned. So when they open up the liquor, because most of the form of the tradition, which it has become a hip hop culture tradition, we have 40s. So we crack the 40 ounce open and we pour some out for the dead homies before we take a swig. We've been doing this through time immemorial and don't even know where this come from. It's embedded into our DNA. This comes from our culture. Right, we all used to do this as a teenager, but we just never knew where it comes from. And it's a tradition that it is one of our traditions. It is pouring libations, but now what we call pouring liquor, or pouring liquor out to the dead homies over here. So it's embedded into our DNA, and we do things, and we do it unsubconscious because we don't know, but it's embedded in our DNA. It's embedded in us, so we do things, and we don't know why we do things, but this is why we do these things. I gave so this here, I'm not gonna go through all this, but you know, just these are movies that have different libations. The Gridiron Gang, those that watch the Gridiron Gang, you can see where one of the boys, it was the gang affiliated boys for those that watch the movies, and one of the boys, you know what I'm saying, he stopped, he stayed and he pulled out a drink before for his dead homies. This is another movie by Angie Martinez. Once Upon a Time, you know about the movie. It was a libation poured out on there. So I'm not going to read all these things, but I just want to throw this up here. Even the movies, our culture is in the movies. My grandmother always told us about libation, respect. So even Hollywood acknowledged our culture and put it into their movies. You know what I'm saying? So these are different movies. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us watch these movies. We watch Boys in the Hood. We know Doughboy. We know Doughboy Doughboy did a libation. We call it here pouring out liquor to the dead homies, but it's a libation. It is an ancient African culture, and it's embedded in any African ceremony and ritual. So we see these in different things. Coolie High, some of us watch Coolie High. We seen the same thing in Coolie High. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these movies we have already seen. These are some of the movies that we have already seen, you know. And I talked about how the libations was actually started in Tai-Nehesi, Tai-Seti, what we call Ethiopia, or what we call Nubia, or the Sudan area. But I'm going by the correct name. So I'm going by a correct name. So is there a God, whether he be within or all about? Yes, there is a creator. There is when you deal with different African spiritual system, we deal with the creator, we deal with the supreme force, the supreme force in nature. We deal with the supreme intellect. But the perception of what most call God, it's not the perception of what we think it is when we, Western civilization dealing with the religions. We think that it's a man floating in space. And we think that it's actually a man that is actually floating in space. When you understand that these are different forces of nature, different aspects. So we had to tell allegory or myth. We had to tell allegory stories in order to get a better understanding. So if the ancestors start talking about what we call today quantum physics, quantum mechanics, start talking about the quantum realm, started talking about the periodic table, the bursting or the supernova of stars, how things came into existence, and this stuff, it probably will go over some people's head. So you will have to tell it for the layman terms for them to have a better understanding. So they would tell these myths or these allegories and stories for you to have a better understanding, so you wouldn't get lost in what they're talking about. So they would tell stories with things that you see on an every day-to-day basis. We see things in nature like the trees, the plants. We see the ground. We see the sky. We see the stars. We see the sun. We see Homo sapiens sapiens. We see animals that are in nature. So we just our ancestors told these stories so the layman people can have a better understanding. But the Western civilization said that there is a man that is floating in space, and they actually literally believe that it's a man floating in space. So anyway, I was talking about how it started in Ta-Nehisi. They said, the scholars are saying that it started in Ta-Nehisi, and it started in Ta-Nehisi or Tai-Seti, which what we call Ethiopia today, or what we call the Sudan, or what people call Nubia. But we know that the people did not call that location by those different names. But I showed you through with the pictures some of the chests or some of the things that are in some of the temples are the first recordings in North Africa that's dealing with libations. So the first recording started in North Africa, and then they migrated all over Africa and migrated all over the world, and libation was influenced with other different cultures. And it talks about, in one of the slides, it talks about Alexander, Egypt. We know that the Greeks came in, Alexander the Greek and the Ptolemies came in 332 BCE into Kemet. And we know that Alexander, Egypt is named after the Greek Alexander. So they was influenced by the pouring of libations as well, as the Romans coming in 30 BCE. They was also influenced by the culture of pouring libations that our ancestors had. So here is a picture here of the Emperor Trojan pouring a libations by the Damu picture. This is a relief. This is a relief off one of the Greek columns. So here's a Greek off of one of the columns, a primary, right here showing that one of the Trojans, or the Emperor Trojans, is pouring libations. Here is another one. The ancient in the 2nd and 3rd century AD. This is a bronze statue of a priest. The ritual covering, attending the partial or the gesture of libation. So again, in a libation does not, in pouring libation, you can have a bowl. You don't have to have a cup. You can have a bowl too of pouring libation. So I'm just trying to show some of the things that I talk about, from it spreading from Ta-Nehisi or Ta-Nehisi into Kemet or Timeri, which is North Africa, and then spread it all over Africa and then all over the world. So I'm just showing you some of the other influence of people taking our culture and incorporating into their culture. So I showed you a primary of one of the Greek columns of one of the Trojan empires pouring libation. Here is one from the Romans, because I stated again, you had the Romans that came in, the Greeks came in 332 BCE. You had the Romans that came in 30 BCE. Always remember, you have the DNA of the ancestors. Gift pass on, and they can manifest, and you can learn instantly with a little attention. Nature always speaks. Apollo, this is another one. Apollo pouring libations from a Phale onto the Ophilis with his sister Antrim attending, and this here is another one. So you see another thing. I think this is a cup, a cup here. Here is another one. A libation being poured in a syphilis. So this is another. This is in 40 AD. Greek pouring libation. So you can see the influence of our ancestors in other different cultures. A scene of sacrifice with libations pouring from a jug. Prometheus. This is the Prometheus Penner attack red figure, great in 430 to 420 BCE. What they label God is actually everything within the breath of life, of energy, and my eyes, not a man, is single and three-parted spirits. Facts. And peace to you, Herb, if I ain't spoke to you, man. Peace, King, peace. I think I spoke to you. Peace, I am my brother's keeper. I try to speak to everybody in here. And for those that coming again, just coming in here, I just asked for Fatmu, Iwa Pele, Fatmu, Alafie, or ETM Hotel, which means bring forth peace, bring forth good character, and welcome in peace. Hotel Christopher Winifred, because I want to keep peace in the live screen. I don't want no bickering back and forth. I don't want no debating. I want us to exemplify good character, because that is what our ancestors did. We build good character. We exemplify good character. So let's practice good character while we're in here, and let's always welcome peace and receive peace. All right, here is another one, an influence of the Jewish culture. You can see the Kohan Jewish priest performing a sacred water libation service right here. So he has a little thing here where he pulls out the libation. So you can see it spread it to the Jews. Uncle Jaz and Eb of Dual Rockwalla Jenkins, peace to you, King. You can see right here, those the Britma shamans performing a libation. So it spread it to the Asians as well. So you have the Asians. So I'm showing you the Greeks. I'm showing you the Romans. I'm showing you the Jews. I'm showing you the Asians that practice Buddhism, pouring libations. You see him throwing the libation right there. So our ancient traditions of pouring libations was spread through everybody else's culture. All right. So the brother was talking about, because I knew this was going to come up, and then I added these slides. I actually supposed to did this presentation Sunday, but due to the Facebook sharing function not working, I didn't do it. But I was going to do it Sunday, and right at the last minute when I got ready to do it, I had a conversation with somebody too, that some of the same question that this brother was asking that was in the live feed about pouring libation, and they demonizing and you praising the dead and all this other type of stuff. And I say it's in your culture as well. You're honoring and revering your ancestors. But again, as I stated in this PowerPoint, you just not only pouring libation, just not only deal with the ancestors. So now we know that pouring libation deal with other different things than the ancestors. We know it's more than just water as a liquid. We know there's other different liquids that pertains to different things that you ask when you ask for your ancestors. Libations and ebos are universal. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So I went and put in some things right at the last minute for those, that stand on something and they don't even have a clue of what they stand on. So Bible verse dealing with libations and liquid offering. Genesis 35:14. It says Jacob set a pillar in a place where he had spoken with him, a pillar of stone, and he poured out a drink offering. Again, libations is a drink offering on it, and he also poured oil on it. And Sinette Monica talked about the same thing while I go on the live feed about pouring oil is a such thing as libation as well, and that is one of the liquid forms as well. I only gave you 5. So libations is a drink offering. So we can see Jacob right here poured a offering. He poured a offering. He did a libation. Numbers 15:15, and you shall prepare wine for the drink offering. 1/4 of the hen with a burnt offering, or a 4th sacrifice for each lamb. So we know that the concept of offering, whether you're offering a drink offering, a food offering, a grain offering, we know those concepts came from our ancestors when we're dealing with certain types of different offerings come from our ancestors. So we see it has been influenced in other different cultures. So when people talk about things, I just scratch my head sometimes, because your piece, it was for people, yeah. And so I just scratch my head, so that's why sometimes when people say who they say they are, and we go to talking, I have to question who you say you are. And then when you disagree with what I'm saying, I ask you why you disagree, and you can't explain. And then I tell you that what I'm talking about is also dealing with something that you also practice or stand on. So I threw these in here, but then I threw in 35. So you can go in and see some others of the point, which I'm not going to read. The point of the libations are just offerings in general. And the different things that you do for the different offerings, when I did with the point of libation, the different things that you do with offering the liquid. And even when I gave you the sesh, I gave you the transliteration, the translation of the Hotep Dina soup earlier. And I showed you the offering of what they was giving, beer, fowl, and other different things. They was giving food, grain, liquid, and so forth on. This concept comes from our ancestors. So I just wanted to throw in a plethora of those. So those people that have questions, they can go back and look at this, and then they can go back and pause the video and look at a lot of these texts. This stuff, I got 35 of them up here. So we have to be careful with what we're saying. All right, family, our customs, our traditions we get together, we always lift up the name of the ancestors. So family, let's do it right now with these last few slides. So before I go into these last few slides, I just want to recap again. All right. So now we have an understanding of what libations is. Libation is activating the communication with your ancestors. And we also know that pouring libations has 5 other different liquids that you can use, and according to what liquid you use is according to what you are asking the ancestors. And as you pour the libations, you talk to the ancestors, you evolve a relationship with the ancestors. We know pouring of the libations is not just revering the ancestors. You can pour libations for your creator. You can pour libations for the lesser deities. And again, whatever name you call your creator, which I would say Odemare or Oleron, or the lesser deities, I would say the Orisha, I would say the Necha any human. So it does not have to be someone that has passed. It can be someone that is still here. It could be someone also that has passed also. So now we established that. Libations does not also deal with just pouring. You can do a libation by taking in a liquid and spitting it out. And we know libations is a drink offering. So I just want to recap on some of those things. And the first recording we have of libations is in Kemet on the wall. So I showed you about 3 different reliefs inside the temple primaries. So you because I don't want you to take my word for it. So I showed the primary pictures of actually the libations in the sesh on the side of it, which I could have went and translated and transliterated some of it right now for you, because again, in order, we have to go back to our languages. We have to go back to our language. We have to go back and let the ancestors speak. We can't let other people speak for the ancestors. We have to go back and retrieve our own language. So I showed you the first recording of the libations and how it interfaced, how it was incorporated in other different cultures. So I showed you some other primary reliefs and cups, pillars that's dealing with the Greeks, the Romans, the Buddhists, the Jews. So I just wanted to just give you a recap. So now we kind of got a grasp of understanding what libations is, and even for those that are in not practicing African spirituality, that is in the Western, the 3 organized, even though there are 4,500 religions on the planet, but we know here in North America, the 3 organized Western religions is Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. And we know when they try to demonize what we stand on and the things that we do, it is incorporated into their things too. So I just showed you 2 verses where there was libations being poured. And I didn't go through all the other ones, but I got 35 texts from their texts, from their holy books of pouring libations. So how can you say it demonized when I tell you it comes from your ancestors? This is incorporated in our culture and our traditions, and it has spread it from one culture to the next, and you were still practicing it. Spitting with rum and blowing cigar smoke, shotgun is good for spirituality cleansing and personal apartments in the house. There are methods to how you can do that. Yes, I broke that down with the rum and the wine and the milk and et cetera, but that's correct. That's correct. All right. So now we're going to get into these last slides before I get out of here. And for those that want to participate, you can participate. Because again, our custom and our traditions is that we always lift up the names of our ancestors, our Igunguns, our Akus, our Insamanfu. We always lift them up. We always lift them up. We always give respect, honor, and reverence to our ancestors, our sacred ancestors, whether they are our blood ancestors or our national ancestors. So now I'm going to give the national ancestors. And the national ancestors are our national heroes. those that was in our community that affected a change in our community that may not be tied to our bloodline. So we're going to revere our national ancestors. You can revere your national ancestors and you can revere your blood ancestors. But if you have an Oja Ogun, which is the ancestral shrine, have a separate shrine for your blood relatives and have a separate shrine or Oja Ogun for your national ancestors. So don't have both on the same Oja Ogun ancestral shrine. Always have it separate. I may come back and do something on here dealing with the Oja Ogun shrine, showing you going into the shrine. Peace, Chris Logic, Woods, peace to you, King, and show you some things of what you can have on your altar, and certain things you could do, But again, with that, with your national ancestors, have a different shrine than you have for your blood relatives. All right. So I have a cup in my hand and I have a bowl because I'm inside my home. I'm not going to pour any water on my floor. And again, I showed you different ways when you're not outside where you can pour your libations at. And I said one can be in a bowl that resembles the ground. It can be inside a plant. So here is so let's get into it. All right. Everybody know who this is right here. This so we want to pour libations for Dr. Joseph Ben Jokanan, who brought us back to North Africa, what we call Kemet, who is a master teacher. Ashe. Dr. Francis Wilson, great psychologist and one who brought us the ISIS paper. Ashe. Aisha Hilliard, a professor, a master teacher, and a Pan-Africanist. Ashe. Harriet Tubman, one who went and freed the slaves and would have freed many more slaves, but some of the slaves didn't even know they were slaves. Ashe. Dr. John Henry Clark, a master teacher, a master historian, a Pan-Africanist. Ashe. Queen Tai, one of the most famous woman in Kemet, the wife of Amenhotep IV, the mother of Amenhotep, the wife of Amenhotep III, and the mother of Amenhotep IV, who we call Akhenaten, and the grandmother of Tut Amen, who we call King Tut. Ashe. Imhotep, a master genius, one who helped construct the step pyramid by King Zoser, a master physician, the true father of medicine and not Hippocratic. Ashe. Queen Azinga, this warrior queen who defeated the Portuguese time after time after time. Ashe. Malcolm X, civil rights leader. Ashe. Sojourner Truth, a woman who escaped with her infant daughter from being enslaved, and the first woman to win a case in the United States and recover her son. Ashe. Sheikh Tadia, a master teacher, a author, a historian. Ashe. Rosa Parks, a woman stood up for what she believed in and wasn't scared. Ashe. Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who created the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, and has did something that no organization has ever done, will have over 8 million members in his organization without the internet, the cell phone, or an iPad. Ashe. Stokely Carmichael, better known as Kwame Ture, a Pan-Africanist, a great civil rights leader. Ashe. Martin Luther King Jr., a great civil rights leader. Ashe. All right. So I wanted to revere some of the national ancestors as well. Now, this here is my reference. So every PowerPoint I do, I always have to give my references so you can go back and look at the reference, vent through these references. Again, I have no problem with being critiqued. I have no problem with adding information. I have no problem with standing correct. If I didn't get something right, that's just not me. I'm not going to attack you for that because, and again, if you go back, I always give a disclaimer. I always give a disclaimer. So these are my sources. So it took numerous of sources to put together. And when people are doing these things, it's not easy. Even though it may last an hour, hour and a half, sometimes it takes hours and hours and hours of reading to put together these PowerPoints to get information and combine these informations, construct this information. So these are my references up here. Religion, Rituals of African Traditions, African Foundations by E. Kofi Osara, which I own the book also. And most of these sources, when I deal with books, people know I'm the book man. So, you know, I have a lot of these sources. Libations in Africa, Rituals and Heritage in the Cycle of Life by Kimani S.K. Nahuse. These are some of the links. Vampire.com. This was from a blog. Libations and Ancient Histories of Pouring Out. Wikipedia. Libations. Africans.com speak. Libations for the Dead. AfricanHolocaust.net. African Libation, which is a great platform, African Holocaust, where they put different articles up on their website. They have all type of stuff on there. Great source they have if you're looking just about for anything. Archive, contacts. I forgot exactly what this was here. I can't remember exactly what, but those are my references. So check out those references. Thank you, brother Kofi. No problem. Great work, saying no problem. Send that marker. Yeah, Ashe Khalid Muhammad. I didn't put Khalid Muhammad, but I was just trying to put some people in here real fast so I can get to enjoy it. Thanks for the session. We must do it again on a regular basis. Yeah, Shesmu, I do it every week. Me and Sinshan, we do these things on a regular basis. So I do them. Most of the times I do them every Sunday, or I do them on Sundays and Mondays. So most of the times I may have 2 prepared. Sometimes I may have only 1 prepared, but I'm always doing something. Every week I'm always putting out some information. So if you hadn't looked at my other ones, you can go on my page, my live Facebook page, and go to the videos. I got about 9 or 10 on there. Or you can go to Kofi. I just started my YouTube channel. I'm not finished. All my stuff is there. Shesmu. Yeah, Shesmu late. Shesmu is late, send that Monica. Tight work, great work, King. Wholehearted, appreciate it. Once again, I magnify you, King Ashe. Appreciate it, DDI, Irvin. But yes, I got my page. I'm not through with my page. I'm still working on my YouTube page, but it's up. If you want to go on there, you can subscribe. Kofi Paisa TV. I have about 4 videos up, but I got to download all the rest. I have about 9, 10, maybe more than that. I know I have about 9 or 10 PowerPoints, and then I have about 4 or 5 where I just went live and we just had a conversation. So I'm gonna put those on there, what I call my reading and sharing videos, where we pick books and we read. So there'll be plenty of information on there by the end of the week. Right now, I only have 4 videos on there, and that's the Ujamaa Cooperative Economic, which is a great video. I have the Kwanzaa video on there, which I'm gonna re-put it on my page, on my Facebook page, before Kwanzaa, so people can go back and look at it if they want to practice Kwanzaa and understand what Kwanzaa is. Because I broke down what Kwanzaa, I went through Kwanzaa, what you can use for different things for Kwanzaa. I went through the Nguzo Saba, which is the 7 principles of what's the name, which springboarded my presentations of cooperative economics. I sent you a friend request, Kofi. I did. I like to build with you. This is refreshing and much appreciated. May the Orishas and the Agungun bless you. Appreciate it, Cuban Crisis. As soon as I get off here, man, I'll accept your friend request, man. Yeah, I'm late. I thought I was always got your announcement, but I got a click now. Yeah, just go to Kofi Paisai TV, and like I said, I have 4 on there. But if you want to look at all of them now, just go on my Facebook page, and you can look at it. I got a lot of them on there, man. I'm just dealing with so many different things. I got 2 dealing with the Yoruba volume, part 1, part 2. I got the rights of African rites of passage. This in here, libations. I have the Kwanzaa. I have the origin of Thanksgiving, where I went in on Thanksgiving and why we should celebrate it, and who the pilgrims. So I walk you through the steps of that. I got one on the master builders. The master builders coming out of Kemet. So I got the different structures. I'm showing the primary of the different pyramids and the people that build the structure. So it's full of info. I can't remember a lot of them. It's a lot of them on there. So go check them out. Subscribe to the channel. Go on there, or like the video, share the video, or whatever. If you critique the video, I don't have a problem with, I don't have a problem with that, but do it in love. Don't do it to stroke your ego. Because again, and my disclaimer, I'm not a teacher. I'm merely a student sharing information. You know what I'm saying? And as I learn, we all learn. So that's how we should be. So if it's something that I didn't incorporate it and you know about that you have already learned, just share it with me. Share it with me. Practice Iwa Pele. So these are my sources. And that's it, family. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I really do. Y'all could be doing something else, but y'all tuned in to watch me lay out some work. And on that note, oh yeah, and please go and subscribe if you had subscribed. And this video here, it's gonna be up there soon, because it's gonna take me some time to upload all these videos, because the videos is taking a long time to upload to my Facebook page. But eventually I'm gonna stop doing, I'm maybe gonna do one here and then one on my page. I'm gonna start going live on my page and putting the link into my Facebook, and you can just click on the link, and the link will bring you directly to my my YouTube channel. Brother Carter Brad. Go on there and on my Facebook page. Stroll down until you find a video called "The Introductions of Yoruba," and I got a part 1 and part 2. You'll find out who Eshun is. Just go look at the video, brother. I'm finna get off here. Been on here long enough. Not finna explain who Eshun is, but it's good that you asking questions. That's what we need to do. We need to ask questions. So continue to ask questions. Shemim Hotep to you, Shezmu Patah. So I'm finna get off here too. And I'm gonna say Shemim Hotep. Shemim Hotep only means depart in peace. I said ETM Hotep in the beginning. So ETM Hotep means bring in peace, come in peace. So we always want to bring in peace. So now I'm asking that we leave in peace. So I'm saying Shem Imhotep, leave in peace. And dua u aku, which means I honor the ancestors, or I thank the ancestors, or mujube ibai igungun kiki igungun modupe. So I always want to thank the ancestors. We must thank the ancestors. We must revere the ancestors. Somebody got a mean face up there. I hope I ain't made nobody mad. But yeah, depart in peace. And on that note, y'all, I'm out. Thank you again for looking at the video and taking my time out to look at it. And check out my brother video tomorrow. He's gonna do something on the elders. Sean or any Sean. I can't even remember the Sean whole name. Any Sean something. Hold on before I get up off here, so I can give you his name. So if you're not a friend, you can go join him. because he does the same thing that I do. But I want to make sure. Okay, Ini Haret Shan Khalifana. So check him out, Ini Haret Shan Khalifa. You can stroll back on the time feed if you don't, and you can just find that brother. He's been in here. I don't know if he's still in here, but he's gonna do a presentation tomorrow. So check out that brother video. Hotel Pesu.